What is up, guys? I'm back here again with another one. This channel has reached the 30,000 subscriber count. I'd like to thank you so much for your continued support. Stay tuned for more of my trading insights. In this video, I'll be sharing about the importance of decoding information across different time frames. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Please note, any information herein is not intended, nor does it constitute financial, tax, legal, investment, or any other advice. So, basically all I'm saying is being able to interpret the data across the different time frames has a lot of benefits, right? And I'll explain why a lot is like lost in translation across the different time frames. So, you could be on the monthly time frame, and of course, the monthly communicates its own information. For instance, the monthly could have two buying candles like this. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Head over to the weekly. What you come across is maybe five buying candles like this. All right. This is on the weekly time frame. Then by the time on the daily, you have a market that's buying, right? This is the buying candles, and then you might also have retracements in there, like that, right? And then you have continuations because the market is essentially buying. So this is all information that is portrayed differently because of the different time frames. So one needs to understand that the monthly showing one candle of buying still really is information telling us that we are buying either on the weekly, on the daily, and so forth. But it's all about how we then use that information to get highly probable zones. Are we together? Okay.
Yeah.
A good example is right now, this is V10-1S, if we were to head over to the monthly time frame, all right, you can clearly see that for the past 2 months, the market has been buying. Okay. So in all honesty, for the past 2 months, if you're looking for sell positions, it was a lose-lose game for you. Okay. Maybe you could get a little scalp or whatever, but in the long run, on the bigger scheme of things, the market is actually pushing to the upside. When you head over to the week, right, that information is also there. Look at this. This is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, almost 8 weeks of the market pushing to the upside, right? So you can only imagine if you're trying to look for sells, right? By the time we go to the daily time frame, right, here's that information of that buy we've been discussing again, but it just looks a bit different now, okay? Now, a market that's buying, right, on the lower time frames also speaks another language, and most importantly, the direction of the market is shown by the impulsive waves. Okay, I always tell my students that when the market is pushing to the upside, the impulses will be to the upside, right? And then the corrective phases would be to the downside. These are temporary movements that we don't really want to pay particular attention to. And then the impulses are up again. And that's exactly what you see here because it's actually a buying market, okay? So impulse, correction, impulse, correction, impulse, correction, impulse. And right now we're in a corrective wave, okay? And so I think without this understanding, you could easily get trapped into looking for sell positions, right? Especially if you're on the wrong time frames altogether. For instance, someone on the H1 right now is seeing a downtrend, right? Seeing lower highs and lower lows, and you're going to get busy trying to look for sell positions. And look, you can get away with it, right? At times, you're going to make some. But I mean, if we're trying to look at, sustainably understanding market movement, sells right now is not where you want to be. Okay. So now that you understand that this is actually a market that's pushing to the upside, right? The question then becomes, what do you do with that information? In this buying market, obviously you want to join the buying market, right? And we have said across the different market structures, when the market is pushing to the upside, it will form higher highs and higher lows. And we want to buy at the most recent low. That's one way. Or actually in a consolidative state, the other name for consolidative state is a range. If we have a range, we have a resistance and a support like that. And what that would mean is we want to focus only at the support or at the floors, and we want to look for buys. And if you look at what's been happening in this market, the corrective phases have been somewhat like ranges, consolidations. So what that is that if you've been focusing at the at the supports of the consolidations, you're making profits. And how do you get the support of those consolidations? Because this is on the daily time frame, right? This is what I'm looking at right now. This support here is on the daily. Let's draw it up and we'll scale down. Okay. Like this. This is our consolidation. Sorry, this right here. By the time we head over, for instance, to the H4, right? That consolidation looks like big enough, right? For us to understand what's going on. So you're no longer trying to look for sells or whatever the case is. You actually want to wait for the market to come to what is seemingly a support level and you look for buys.
Yeah.
In terms of probabilities, that's where your high probability trades will be sitting, right? And the same could
Mm.
actually easily apply for where we are right now, right? We just threw this impulsive leg, and one could want to say that it really depends on how you view things, right? One could want to say that this was a high and we formed a higher high, and at these lows, the market started pushing up. But this somewhat looks like a breach to me. So one could want to look at this as a consolidation, okay? To still
Mm.
look for buys. We're looking at what is highly probable, right? To still look for buys and so forth to facilitate our, upward bias. However, right, there's always a trick part that one needs to also understand, right? The market structures, you see, when it comes to the time frames, the various time frames, you truly need to understand what is going on, okay? Um, if I'm to take you to the weekly time frame, right, what you'll notice on the bigger scheme of things, right? So for instance, one can say that we have a high here, right? And
Mm-hmm.
market has actually started to print a higher high there, right?
Yeah.
We had a low here, and this was a higher low. And
No.
now, if you see what's going on, you can see for essentially what we're calling consolidation on the daily and so forth is the fact that we are at this higher high, and the market is actually seemingly losing steam now. You understand?
Yeah.
This could
Yeah.
be the genesis of the market pushing all the way down to form a higher low there. Do you understand what I
Mm-hmm.
So one
Yeah.
needs to
Yeah.
be careful. As much as, remember, we've discussed trying to find ways to buy because we've been buying for all these weeks, all right?
Yeah.
Still, you need to
Mm-hmm.
understand the bigger scheme of things, and you could get away with it. But however, you need to also understand that it is possible that the market is about to then start pushing down. But everything is about probabilities, right? The
Yeah.
likelihood of that happening is high, but what's even higher is the fact that, look, we're not trying to be number one and look for sales in a market that has been buying for all these weeks. There's no point. You understand?
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
anything, I'm still looking for buys, right? Um, and this is just because the market hasn't shown me outright exhaustion yet. Yes, I'm starting to see these spikes. Yes, we're in higher high territory. Yes, it's possible that we're going to start pushing to the downside, but I'm not going to be the first one. So I'm still looking for buys. And even on the bigger scheme of things like this, right? I just want to point out to you this past floor here. Okay, I'm going to make it orange. I like to mark my past floors as orange. This is a past floor, right? Why? Because when the market was pushing to the downside, we got here and we failed to break for all these weeks, and then we pushed down, right? The reason why I'm outlining this past floor is because it's relative to where price currently is right now, okay? There's no point in me, for instance, looking at this past floor. It is a past floor, this one, because as the market was pushing to the downside, it failed there and then it finally broke. But it's irrelevant because price is currently here and we're trying to make buy decisions. And we just broke
Mm-hmm.
above that past floor. So it is possible that if we were to tap into here or somewhat this area, we could find a buy position again, right? Because we're not ready to sell yet, okay? And it's not a bad idea because you can clearly see this whole thing is like an X resistance, and resistance usually turns into support and all those nice things. And most
Yeah.
important, as I've mentioned in my sessions, the market likes to go and retest the order block responsible for the break of the past floor. Okay. So we have an established past flow here, and I would want to just scale down. Let's go back to the daily and check this out. You see, on the daily, right, there's an order block that is responsible for the break of that
Yeah.
flow. You see this one here. It
Yeah.
makes sense in terms of market structure. Once again, we are really not ready to sell yet. Why? Look at this, right? The buying market structure hasn't been
Yeah.
disrupted whatsoever. Of course, there's opportunity. We've said we could want to play for the consolidation here, but I would not want to at the moment because of those the weakness I'm seeing on the weekly. However, for me, I'm very much excited about this order block that was responsible for taking out that pass flow. We can talk about many reasons, or should I say many things that I'm seeing. Firstly, we have a bullish engulfing candle like that, strong demand. If we head over to the lower time frames, let's go to the H8 time frame. Look at that, right? Still another bullish
Sure.
engulfing. And so at times when you see a consolidative stage like this, right? Usually, right? For instance, let's just say the market sells and breaks that consolidation. Just think of how many people would start selling the market because some people trade that way. Once support
Mm,
breaks, they look for sell positions, right? And we'll be heading straight into this demand zone. So these sell positions create the necessary liquidity for the market to keep pushing up. So,
mm,
I always talk about scenario analysis. And so this is me planning ahead and saying this is what I would be waiting for the V10 one is. You understand what I'm saying?
got it.
All right, so there you have it. As always, it's important to stick to your strategy and wait for the conditions to align to use it. If you like what you see, feel free to contact me for the list of my services. You can find my contact details in the description of this video. Until next time, cheers.